Sometimes, the smallest story can teach us the biggest lesson. Have you ever noticed how a tiny event, something that feels unimportant, can stay in your heart for years? Maybe a simple smile from a stranger, a kind word from a teacher, or even a mistake that you once made. These little things, they seem small at first, but they can carry a message so powerful that it changes how you see life. Today, I want to share one such story with you. It is not a story of a great king, or a famous hero, or a person with much wealth. No, it is a story about an ordinary man in a simple village. Yet, from this ordinary man's journey, we will learn something that can inspire us, comfort us, and even help us with our own goals, like learning English. So, my dear listener, stay with me. Open your heart, relax your mind, and let me take you to a quiet village, where this small but beautiful story begins. Why do I call it a small story? Because, on the surface, nothing dramatic happens. There are no wars, no great victories, no treasures. Instead, it is about daily life, simple, slow, and almost invisible to the busy world outside. But that is why it is so powerful. Life itself is built of small things, small steps, small words, small actions. And when we begin to see the meaning hidden in those small things, our lives begin to change. Think about your own journey. Perhaps you want to improve your English, or find courage to keep moving forward, or simply learn to feel calmer and stronger in your daily routine. Big changes might feel impossible, but sometimes all you need is one small story to remind you, every step matters. So today's story is not just for your ears. It is for your heart, your mind, and your spirit. Our main character is a farmer named Arun. Arun is not rich. He does not own much land, only a small field at the edge of his village. His house is made of mud walls and a roof of dried grass. Every morning, he wakes up before the sun rises. He carries a small basket, takes his tools, and walks to his field. Life for Arun is not easy. The rain does not always come on time. The soil is sometimes too dry. Some days, his back hurts from bending down for too long. But Arun is not lazy. He works with quiet patience. Still, inside his heart, there is often a question: why is life so hard for me? Why do I always struggle, while others seem to live more easily? He is not jealous of others, but he feels tired. He feels as if his small efforts will never bring him anything big. And yet, every day, he continues. The village where Arun lives is simple but beautiful. Children run barefoot in the dusty streets. Women carry water pots on their heads. Men sit under the banyan tree and talk about the weather and the harvest. Arun usually does not join them, because he feels he must keep working. He believes that if he stops, even for one day, his crops will fail. But despite his hard work, his harvests are always small. He grows just enough rice and vegetables to feed his family, but never enough to sell in the market. Each evening, when he sits by the small oil lamp in his house, he wonders, what am I doing wrong? Am I not strong enough? Am I not smart enough? These thoughts sometimes make him feel very heavy inside, as if he is carrying not just tools but also a mountain of doubt. One year, the weather becomes especially difficult. The rains come late, and when they finally arrive, they are too strong, washing away much of Arun's young crops. His field looks broken, and Arun feels broken too. He tries to replant, but the soil is weak. His hands are tired, and his heart is even more tired. At night, he cannot sleep well. He listens to the wind outside and asks himself, should I give up? Maybe I am not meant to be a farmer. Maybe I should leave this village and find another job. But deep inside, Arun knows he does not want to leave. This is his home. This is the land of his father and grandfather. Yet he is afraid that no matter how hard he works, he will never succeed. And this is where our story truly begins, not with success, but with struggle, and with the question every human asks, am I enough? Days turn into weeks, and Arun's worries grow heavier. Every morning, when he walks to his small field, he feels sadness pressing on his shoulders. The plants are weak, many have died, and the few that remain do not look healthy. When he tries to water them, the water disappears quickly into the cracked soil. Some neighbors pass by and shake their heads. They say, "Arun is unlucky. His field is cursed." These words sting his heart like sharp thorns. He pretends not to care, but inside, he feels ashamed. He begins to walk with his head down, avoiding the eyes of other villagers. In the evenings, his children ask, "Father, will we have enough food this year?" Arun forces a smile, but he cannot answer clearly. His silence makes his wife worry. She knows Arun is hard-working, but she sees his spirit becoming weaker, like a flame slowly dying. This is the darkest season of his life, and he feels like he is standing at the edge of failure. One evening, after another long day of disappointment, Arun sits near his field. The sun is setting, painting the sky with orange and pink, but Arun feels no joy. He digs his fingers into the dry soil and mutters, "This land does not want me." He almost decides, in that very moment, to leave everything behind. He imagines himself walking away, never looking back, becoming just another poor man searching for work in the city. His heart is heavy, but at the same time, he feels strangely empty, as if his dreams have already died. Then, as the wind moves gently through the tall grass, Arun notices something small near his feet. It is a tiny green plant, growing stubbornly between two stones. The plant is fragile, almost hidden, but it stands tall, its leaves fresh and alive. Arun stares at it for a long time, surprised. How is this little one alive here, in such hard soil, he wonders. And for the first time in many weeks, a small spark of curiosity lights up inside him. The next morning, as Arun returns to the field, his eyes keep searching for that small plant. He finds it again, standing in the same place, stronger than before. While most of his crops have struggled, this tiny plant has managed to survive without care, without water, without protection. Arun bends down and touches its leaf gently. In that simple moment, he feels something unusual. It is as if the little plant is whispering a secret to him, though he cannot understand it yet. He laughs softly to himself and says, "You are small, but you are brave." This tiny moment does not solve his problems, but it stays in his heart. He cannot forget it. Later that day, when Arun sits under the banyan tree in the village, an old man joins him. The man looks at Arun's tired face and says kindly, "Sometimes life teaches us lessons through the smallest things. Do not ignore them." Arun thinks about the old man's words and the little plant. He does not know th. In the days that follow, Arun cannot stop thinking about the little plant. Every time he passes his field, he looks for it. It is not big, not special, but it keeps growing. While other plants need his care, water, and protection, this one fights alone. At first, Arun laughs at himself for caring so much about a small thing. "Why am I wasting my thoughts on this tiny plant?" he says. But inside, he knows the truth, he is curious. He wonders, what makes this plant different? Why does it live where others die? He does not have the answer yet, but the question stays in his mind like a soft echo. And slowly, without noticing, his sadness becomes lighter. His heart is not free yet, but it has a new visitor, curiosity. And sometimes, curiosity is the first step to healing. One morning, when Arun feels tired again, he walks to his field and almost gives up watering his crops. But then his eyes see the little plant again, standing taller than before. Something inside him whispers, "If this little plant can keep going, maybe I can too." With a deep breath, he takes his pot of water and begins to give a little to the soil. He knows it is not enough to save everything, but he does it anyway. That evening, when he tells his wife about the small plant, she smiles softly. "Maybe it is a sign," she says. Arun shakes his head, but deep inside, he feels the same. It is as if life itself has sent him this message: do not stop, even when the ground feels empty. He still feels weak, but he also feels something new, an invisible hand pulling him forward. The next day, Arun sees the old man again under the banyan tree. He decides to speak to him. "Sir," he asks, "why did you say that small things can teach us lessons?" The old man smiles, his eyes soft with wisdom. "Because life hides its truth in the small, not in the grand," he says. Anyone can notice a mountain, but only those who pay attention can see the power in a tiny seed. That plant you watch, it grows because it does not wait for perfect conditions. It simply does what it can, where it is. And so must we. Arun listens quietly. The words feel simple, yet they sink into his heart. Do what you can, where you are. That night, as he lies awake, he repeats the old man's words again and again. And slowly, the meaning begins to shine. Strength is not about control, but about persistence. Over the next week, Arun's eyes open in new ways. He begins to see the small plant not only as a plant but as a teacher. It shows him that success is not about being in the best place or having perfect conditions. It is about staying alive, staying present, and growing little by little. He thinks about his own life. He has been comparing himself to other farmers, believing that he is unlucky, cursed, or weak. But now he sees that maybe the problem is not luck. Maybe the problem is the way he sees himself. If a small plant can grow between stones, then Arun can grow too, even with his difficulties. This thought gives him strength. It is not a loud strength, not a sudden victory, but a quiet strength that whispers, "Do not give up. Keep going." With this new perspective, Arun begins to work differently. He no longer sees his field as a place of failure, but as a place of possibility. Every morning, he waters the soil, even if it is just a little. He smiles when he sees the sun, instead of cursing its heat. He stops avoiding his neighbors and instead greets them with respect, even when they doubt him. Slowly, his heart feels lighter. His body is still tired, but his spirit is not broken. His wife notices the change and feels relief. His children notice too, because their father's eyes carry more light now. Arun is not rich, and his field is still small, but his mind has grown bigger. He has learned that patience is not weakness, it is strength. And from this new attitude, new energy begins to rise in his life. Now, dear listener, let us pause. Think about Arun's story. What do you see? A man who almost gave up, but found hope in something small. A man who thought he was failing, but discovered that persistence was the real success. Is this not the same for all of us? Sometimes we look at others and think, they are more successful, more talented, more lucky. And then we feel small, as if we are not enough. But life whispers to us through small signs, just like that little plant whispered to Arun. It says, keep going, even if your soil is dry. Keep trying, even if your progress is slow. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Grow where you are. And when we listen to that whisper, we begin to see that life is not about perfection. It is about persistence. Think about your own challenges. Maybe you are studying, working, or trying to care for your family. Maybe you feel tired, lost, or ready to quit. The world can feel too big, and our hands too small. But remember, even a seed, smaller than your fingertip, can grow into a strong tree if it stays alive. You do not need to be the strongest today. You do not need to be the fastest. You only need to keep growing, step by step, day by day. Like Arun, you may not see big changes immediately, but if you continue with patience, something beautiful will happen. One day, you will look back and see that your small steps created a big journey. We often think that patience means waiting without action. But that is not true. Patience is not sitting and doing nothing. Patience is continuing to act, even when the results are slow. Arun did not stop working on his field. He continued, even when the soil looked empty. That is the meaning of patience, to trust the process, to trust that small actions will bring fruit in the right season. This is a lesson for all of us. We cannot control everything, the rain, the sun, the soil. But we can control our effort, our heart, and our attitude. And that is enough to change our lives. Remember this, patience is not weakness. Patience is strength that moves quietly, but surely. Sometimes we think big results require big actions. We imagine that success comes from sudden change, or from luck, or from special opportunities. But in truth, most success comes from small, steady actions. A farmer grows his crop not by one big effort, but by daily care. A student learns not by one night of study, but by many small hours of practice. A family becomes strong not through one moment, but through daily kindness. Life rewards consistency more than intensity. If you want to change your life, do not wait for a big chance. Start with small steps today. Like Arun, you may not feel strong at first, but those small steps will build the strength you need. Now, pause for a moment and think about yourself. Where in your life do you feel tired, weak, or ready to give up? Maybe it is your studies, your job, your health, or your relationships. Close your eyes and picture that little green plant in the hard soil. It did not choose perfect conditions. It did not wait for better weather. It simply decided to live, to grow, to reach for the light. Can you do the same? Can you choose to take one small step today, even if everything feels heavy? Remember, you do not need to finish the whole journey at once. You only need to begin. And once you begin, the path will open before you. This is the lesson of Arun's story. Strength is not about being free from struggle. Strength is about choosing to grow, even in the middle of struggle. Arun's story teaches us about patience, persistence, and trust in small steps. But now, let us bring this lesson closer to you. You are here because you are learning English. Sometimes, learning a language feels exactly like working in a field. You plant new words in your mind, but they do not grow quickly. You water them with practice, but sometimes you forget. You wait for results, but they seem slow. And then you begin to ask yourself, am I wasting my time? Maybe English is too hard for me. Maybe I will never be fluent. These thoughts are natural, just like Arun's doubts about his field. But remember, even the strongest tree starts as a small seed. Even a little plant in hard soil can survive. In the same way, your English can grow, even if the beginning feels weak. Think of the times you felt stuck in your English journey. Maybe you studied grammar rules but still made mistakes. Maybe you learned new vocabulary but forgot it when you tried to speak. Maybe you listened to English conversations but could not understand fast enough. These moments can feel heavy, like dry soil. Many learners give up at this stage. They say, I am not good at languages. I will never learn. But the truth is, the problem is not your ability, it is your patience. Just like Arun needed to see the meaning in small steps, you must see the power in small learning moments. One new word, one new phrase, one new sentence each day can slowly build your strength. Do not be discouraged by slow progress. Small progress is still progress. When you learn English, do not chase perfection. Chase consistency. Perfection says, you must never make mistakes. But consistency says, make mistakes, but keep moving. Arun did not suddenly create a perfect harvest. He simply returned to his field every day and gave what he could. In the same way, you do not need to speak perfectly today. You only need to practice a little today, and a little tomorrow, and the next day. Over time, these small steps will create something big. Think of every English video you watch, every sentence you read, every short conversation you try. These are not wasted moments. They are like drops of water in the soil. One drop may seem small, but many drops can bring a whole field back to life. Imagine yourself as a farmer of language. Your field is your mind. Your seeds are words and sentences. Your water is practice. Your sunlight is motivation. At first, the field may look empty. You may not see results quickly. But if you keep planting, watering, and caring, the harvest will come. Arun's patience with his field gave him strength. Your patience with English will give you fluency. And just as the little plant gave Arun hope, every small success in English, like understanding a sentence, or writing a paragraph, should give you hope. Celebrate these small victories, because they are proof that you are growing. Many learners ask, how long will it take to become fluent? But this question is like asking, how many days until the seed becomes a tree? The answer is simple, it depends on how much care and time you give. Do not measure your progress by days or months. Measure it by your consistency. Did you learn a new word today? That is growth. Did you listen to an English story today? That is growth. Did you try to speak, even if only a little? That is growth. Remember, fluency is not built in one day, but in many small steps. Just like Arun's little plant, your English will surprise you one day. You will realize that the seed you planted long ago has become something strong and alive. Paragraph 26, Encouragement to Learners, 500 words. So, dear listener, I encourage you, do not give up. Do not let slow progress make you blind to the truth. You are learning, you are growing, even if you do not see it yet. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Like Arun, you may face doubts, but doubts are not the end. They are only part of the journey. Every time you feel tired, remember the little plant. Remember that growth happens quietly, step by step, even in hard soil. You are stronger than you think. Your mind is capable of more than you believe. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep moving forward. Think about how far you have already come. Once, maybe you did not know a single word of English. Now, you can understand this story. That is not a small thing. That is proof that you are already growing. Maybe you still feel your English is not good enough, but that is only because you compare yourself to others. Stop comparing. Compare yourself to your past self, and you will see progress. You are not the same as before. You have already planted many seeds. Now, you only need to continue watering them. Do not stop now. The harvest is waiting. The story of Arun is more than a story. It is a mirror of our own lives. He almost gave up, but he found hope in something small. You may almost give up, but you too can find hope in small progress. Every struggle you face in English, every mistake, every slow step, it is all part of your growth. Do not see your mistakes as failures. See them as stones in the soil that make your roots stronger. The small plant did not run from the stones. It grew between them. And you, too, can grow between your struggles. So let this story stay with you. When you feel weak, remember Arun's field. When you feel tired, remember the little plant. When you feel ready to give up on English, remember that even in the hardest soil, life finds a way to grow. Your journey is not about speed. It is not about being perfect. It is about direction, patience, and persistence. Keep walking in the right direction, even slowly, and one day you will look back with pride. Dear friend, the story you heard today is more than words. It is a reminder, even small moments can change your whole future. Even small steps in English can change your whole journey. Believe in yourself. Trust your effort. Celebrate your progress. And whenever you feel lost, come back to this story, because its lesson is simple but powerful. Do not stop. Do not give up. Keep growing, like the little plant in Arun's field. Your harvest will come. Your fluency will come.